That's a nice situation to be in where you don't have to worry about you can still have a big-time job without worrying about the volatility of the market and of the fan base all the time.
So you're saying it's not a high-pressure job?
No. As long as you can maintain
a certain level of
success. That you can't go 6-6, that's not gonna work.
No.
You can't do that. But if you can go 8, 9, 10, if you can win 10 every 3 years, oh man, you can say Wisconsin in a long time.
Uruguay has, or is it Portugal?
I can't tell. I believe it's Portugal. I'm pretty sure it's Portugal.
Portugal is struck first.
Has scored.
So we just needed to mention it. So there you go, Johnny.
Yes. 1-0 Portugal.
Yep.
54th minute.
54
and of course,
minutes in.
In soccer, the time continues to run, even though someone has scored and everyone's celebrating.
Boy, the extended time is a lot.
That's where and look who it is. The most famous athlete in the world who scores. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh.
Is he for Portugal?
Nice.
Who gets to score?
Very nice. David Shaw.
Yeah.
Out at Stanford. They lose their final game at BYU. He says, I'm stepping down.
He says, I'm done.
I'm done.
Yeah. And
at one time, for a good while.
Oh, man, for about 5-year stretch.
Probably the hottest name out there.
Everybody
was trying to get David Shaw.
NFL, Notre Dame.
Everybody
was asking for David Shaw. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman who's very familiar with the city of Nashville who is in Oklahoma right now, who owes quite a bit to David Shaw on his success, and that would be Derek Mason, who was a defensive coordinator, if I believe. Is that correct here, Darren? Is that right? DC under David Shaw, and took that success on to Vanderbilt, where he was able to be a SEC head coach for several years.
Derek Mason, I've seen, is on a list.
I bet he is.
He's on a list. I don't know if he's going to get it.
I don't know either.
I probably doubt it because Oklahoma State's defense was awful this year.
Yeah.
It was a top 10 defense last year. He became the DC. And I'm pro Derek Mason. I got to know Derek Mason a lot. I got to know him well when he was here at Vanderbilt. I just don't think he's going to get it.
No.
I think I saw Oklahoma State's defense is like 93rd or 92nd in the country. It has not gone well this year.
No.
Considering they were a top 10 defense in the country last year.
Yeah.
And now they're barely a top 100 defense in the country this year. So I don't think he's going to get it, but he is on a list.
I'm sure. Yeah.
At Stanford.
Yeah.
The Michigan-Ohio State game, 17 million people, Devlin, watched. It was the most watched college football game since 2011. He's an Ohio State fan.
Listen, I don't have any sympathy for the Ohio State. Listen, they won for how long? How long was the streak? Was it 15 years? How long was the streak, Devlin?
Yeah, about that long.
Oh, about 15 years or something?
A shameful amount of years.
Okay, you know what? All right, then. It's fine. They can lose a couple games. It's not going to crush your dreams. You still got Archie Griffin and Eddie George and all that, and none of that went anywhere. It's all still there. The Heisman trophies are still there. The national championships everything's fine.
Well, but there was kind of implications on that. I mean, they could cost them getting in the playoffs, probably will. So, it's not just a loss.
Okay. Well.
It's a loss to their big rival at home, which hadn't been done in 20 years.
Yeah.
And they very well may just be playing for a bowl game. That means nothing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that's 90% of college football right now.
Well, yeah, but that's not why they hired Ryan Day. They hired Ryan Day to be playing in the playoffs.
To be playing in the playoffs?
They expect to be in the playoffs every year.
Okay, well.
So I'm just saying.
All right, then. Well, you got to give them a chance to rebuild it then. And Jim Harbaugh has been working on that thing over there for a while. So it shouldn't be surprising. And this is the thing about all college football and a lot of different things. When somebody's been working on something for 6, 7, 8 years, you cannot be surprised if it actually works at some point. You would like to think if you've been working on something for 8 years, that at some point it will come around and start working.
Well, he's lucky his name is Jim Harbaugh, because if his name wasn't that, and it was,
he wouldn't get the chance for it to work.
And it was, Joe Fisher. Sorry, Joe. No disrespect. But I'm throwing out a name, not our Joe Fisher, like some other guy named Joe Fisher. Then
Names.
he would. Okay, give me another name.
I don't know.
Okay.
We're already with Joe Fisher now, but okay, sure.
That it wouldn't have worked, right?
Probably,
he would have been
you wouldn't have been there that long. No,
right? He wouldn't have got the opportunity to
Harbaugh
stay there.
or Schembechler.
It wasn't working, right? To the
work.
level they thought it was going to be working.
Yeah,
but he, a lot of people thought he was, but he was going to get a very long leash because his name was Jim Harbaugh and not Joe Fisher.
And they were paying him a ton.
Nothing again, not our Joe Fisher, just a guy named Joe Fisher.
Another guy named Joe Fisher.
He's currently living in Tulsa.
Sure.
But that Joe Fisher.
That Joe Fisher.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whoever that Joe Fisher is.
Sure. Absolutely.
But he would have been fired.
Yes.
Because Jim Harbaugh got a long leash, but that just goes to show you it's worked. I mean, look, they're in. I think they're in no matter what. They're not going to lose to Purdue. They're not. But if they did, I still think they're in. No?
You would think. It depends on whatever else shakes out. I need to see the rankings come out tomorrow. We can look at it, but probably they're probably in. If they lose to Purdue, they're probably in. But we'll see.
I mean, they're not taking Purdue.
I mean, no. Purdue's not going to the
if they
playoffs.
lose to Purdue, they're not taking Purdue.
That just means nobody from the Big Ten will be represented. That's all that means.
Right, but
they'll take somebody else. They'll
but
take
that's
SEC
kind
number
of,
2.
I know, but it's kind of a big deal to them to have somebody from the Big Ten in.
Well, I mean, you would think, but I'm just saying, if they lose to Purdue and LSU beats Georgia, then what are you going to do then?
Yeah. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Titans game yesterday. They fall to Cincinnati. We'll catch up with David Beauclair. We'll react to yesterday's game, and we'll do that next here on the McFarland Show. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Before you know it, the holiday season will be upon us, so it's time to start planning. If you're having a holiday party or event this year, then you should consider the Omni Nashville Hotel. Have a festive holiday party for your company, family, or friends at the most luxurious location in Music City. All your guests will experience the award-winning service from their well-trained, courteous staff at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Rooms that are second to none, and venues that will be the envy of all your guests. For smaller gatherings, reserve the private dining room inside Kitchen Notes. For a fun party atmosphere, consider bar lines. And for high-end corporate entertaining, choose Bob's Steakhouse. You can't go wrong when you book your party at the Omni Nashville Hotel. For more information or inquire about availability, just call 615-782-5333. That's 615-782-5333. The Omni Nashville Hotel, Music City's holiday party destination.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
Back here on the McFarland Show on this Monday afternoon, we now react to yesterday's game between the Titans and the Bengals.
And now it's time for Darren and Justin Big Game Reaction, sponsored by ABS Communications. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. Call Mark and the gang today at 615-349-8588 or visit them online at abscomm.net. ABS Communications, they make complex simple.
He's David Beauclair. He was there yesterday as well. Titans fall to the Bengals yet again in Nashville. He covers the team, SI.com channel, publisher of all Titans on Fan Nation Network. David, how are we doing?
I'm good, boys. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Doing better than, unfortunately, the Titans. What was your takeaway from yesterday's 2016 loss?
You know, that this team, I guess, you know, nothing has changed in my impression of this team. The big difference is they got beat on the line of scrimmage yesterday in a way that they haven't been beat on the line of scrimmage for most of this season. You know, Derrick Henry had a 9-yard gain on the first carry, and you thought, okay, you know, here they go. They're gonna do what the Titans do, and then he had no running room the rest of the day. And you know, the Bengals. I mean, Samaje Perine is a good pro player, right? He's been around for a while, but certainly as good as that run defense has been, you didn't think a guy like that would be able to get anything done against that defense, but he did. And then even more interesting to me was Joe Burrow's ability to get out of the pocket and scramble and make things happen with his legs. I mean, no one's ever going to confuse that guy with Lamar Jackson, but I thought he was particularly effective when he was able to tuck the ball and scramble yesterday, which, you know, you think back to the playoff game, he absolutely was not able to do that, had nowhere to go, no time to do anything most of that game, and he had a lot more time to decide what to do and where to go yesterday. So I think that was it was another good physical game, but in this case, the other team stood up to the Titans' physicality and probably exceeded it most of the day.
And Joe Burrow hit Trenton Irwin, who I said out loud in the press box, "Who's number 16? Who is that guy? What,
exactly.
Is that a fan that suited up? Like, what happened? How did he get on the field? Who is that?"
Yeah,
by the way, made a great catch.
Made a great catch, you know, and it sort of made you think back to the Raiders game and Mac Hollins, you know, who, you know, you came in with the Raiders. You're talking about Devontae Adams and Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow, who didn't play in that game, but then, you know, Mac Hollins goes crazy. There seems to, you know, that seems to be a little bit of a thing right now. But, you know, the thing with Burrow running, this is I wrote about this today or yesterday afternoon. The Titans have now 3 times this year, opposing quarterbacks have run for 25 yards or more, which, you know, that's not a huge number, but it's guys who've been able to get out of the pocket and make things happen against them. And it was Patrick Mahomes a couple weeks ago. It was Daniel Jones in week 1, and it was Joe Burrow yesterday. And that's right, the Titans have lost all 3 of those games. So I think there's something there in terms of the Titans' pass rush has to be coordinated, has to have guys in the right spots, not allowing escape lanes and whatnot for this defense to be as effective as it can be. And that certainly wasn't the case yesterday.
It's pretty scary that Cincinnati was without Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase and still found a way to come in here and beat the Titans at their own game.
especially if you look at the standings, the conference standings right now today. Titans are still in the number 3 spot where they were a week ago. This time it's by virtue of the fact that they have one more conference win than the Baltimore Ravens do. But last week in number 6, which is who they would play, was New England. This week, that's right, it's Cincinnati now in the number 6 spot. So if the season were to end today, Cincinnati would be coming back down here for another playoff game, and certainly from a fan's perspective, I don't think anybody wants to see that right now. I mean, you even go back 2 years ago, before the Bengals got to where they are right now, when they were going through their growing pains with Joe Burrow and everything. The Titans went up there and they lost to the Bengals too. Joe Burrow seems to have their number right now in a way that the Titans kind of do to a certain degree with Patrick Mahomes, for example, or some other guys. But this is if I'm a Titans fan, I don't want to see the Bengals anywhere in the postseason until it's absolutely necessary this year.
When your nickname is the Keen, obviously you're held in very high regards, and rightfully so. Derrick Henry has earned the nickname. He's earned all the accolades that we give him year in and year out because he's been the best running back in the National Football League. He looked actually not even pedestrian yesterday. He looked below average yesterday. I couldn't believe how many times he was hit before the line of scrimmage, David, yesterday by the Bengals. He's looked pedestrian the last several weeks. What do you think is going on? Has it been Jones' absence? Is it just they've been playing more physical defenses? Do you think Derrick Henry is starting to wear down? Like what? Where would you go with that?
Well, I think for the most part, yesterday's performance is on the offensive line. I think I've said this. I said this with you a few weeks back, Darren. If you go back to 2016 and the draft, the pre-draft reports, even, the book on Derrick Henry has never changed. What people said about him before the Titans drafted him, what they say about him now, it's always the same. If you can get to him in his first couple steps, before he gets up to speed, before he gets to and through the line of scrimmage, you can get him to the ground. He's not that much of a problem. It's when he gets up to speed and starts to encounter smaller guys in the forms of linebackers and defensive backs that he becomes a real problem. And that's what you saw yesterday. The Bengals were just getting to him early and getting him to the ground. Now, that being said, I think it's pretty clear what we've seen this year that we are seeing the decline of Derrick Henry that we all knew was bound to come. Running backs in this league, particularly running backs who carry the kind of load he's carried, a running back who's coming off the foot surgery, and I look at the big play yesterday, the screen pass that he turned into a 69-yard gain. But not only did he get caught from behind, he got caught with such authority that a guy was able to hit him and go after the football and knock the football out. And of course, Treylon Burks fell on into the end zone. It was a touchdown. That's great. But I think, there's no way to know this for sure, but 2 years ago, Derrick Henry doesn't get caught on that play, right? And we've seen that a few times this season and in recent weeks where he's in the open field and where guys just never could get an angle on him before, or if they did, it wasn't enough to knock him out of bounds or too far off stride or whatever. That's not the case this year. Now that's not to say he's done. Certainly, he's number 2 in the league in rushing still this year. He's got 1,048 yards. He's got 10 rushing touchdowns. He's still a good, effective running back who is the most important piece of this offense right now. But he is certainly not the Derrick Henry that we saw in 2019, 2020, and the first part of 2021 before he got hurt. And I do think it does create some concern, and it'll really bear watching here because that's the thing. That's been the thing about Henry's career, right? Is he's always gotten better late in games, late in the season. Like his November yards per carry and December yards per carry are way better historically than September and October. He's trending in the opposite direction this year. So as we're moving into December here, we really kind of need to keep an eye on that.
David Beauclair on the line with us. We know they have been able to give up big chunks of yards. Pass defense has not been good at the bottom of the league. They've been very good against the run. But how concerned are you? I mean, T. Higgins carved them up yesterday, and I know he's a really good receiver. Christian Watson is a rookie for the Packers. He carved them up on Thursday Night Football. How concerning is right now their pass defense to you?
Yeah, it's been a concern all year. You go back to Sterling Shepard with a big play in Week 1 by the Giants. The Bills had several big plays in Week 2, and that was all the talk early in the year. And again, this goes back to the line play when the defensive line is disrupting things, when they're getting to the quarterback with just a 4 or 5 man pressure. And not giving him time to stand back there and take those deep shots, the defense looks a whole lot better. But Joe Burrow had time to do those sorts of things yesterday, and Aaron Rodgers had time. Both those guys were only sacked once after there was a 6-game streak there where the Titans had at least 3 sacks in a game. So is this have teams sort of started to figure out how to defend the Titans upfront attack there, or is it these guys are wearing down, kind of similar to what we're saying to Derrick Henry, or is it just a little lull that happens in the season? I don't know, but it's certainly not trending in a positive direction when you talk about the next opponent on the schedule and all the ways that they can attack you and create some big plays and that sort of thing. So I would suspect there's a respectable level of concern within those coaches' offices right now, and trying to figure out how to get back to what we had seen for a good stretch of the season here.
David, what are they doing at kicker? I'll just pause it there.
Here's what I think. I think you go all the way back into the offseason. I think the plan was for Ryan Stonehouse and Caleb Shudak to be their punter and their kicker. I think they wanted to, if at all possible, go as cheap as possible at those two positions, and because this is a team that's been sort of up against the salary cap. They had to redo Zach Cunningham's contract. They had they've done a couple other things this year to free up some money and that sort of thing. So I think that's what they wanted to happen was Shudak and Stonehouse to get those jobs, force the veterans out. You let these two grow up together over the next couple years. And what happened? What have you? Stonehouse obviously worked out. It's worked out fabulously for them in a lot of ways. Shudak got hurt. Didn't see him. Couldn't practice during training camp. Did nothing in the preseason and whatnot. Now you get to a situation where finally he's healthy, and it just so happens to be at a time where Randy Bullock is hurt. You had Josh Lambo in here last week, a veteran. It would have been easy to stick with him, but I think this was a case where you look at the standings and you go, you know what? We've got some room to play around here. We're almost certainly going to win the division and have at least one home playoff game. We can take a chance in this game against Cincinnati, give the kid a chance to kick in a game, and we'll get a sense of whether he can be our kicker next year. I don't think even if he had gone 5 for 5 on field goals and 3 of them were for 50 yards or whatever, I don't think they would have said, okay, Randy Bullock can, we'll see you later. I think at this point in the season, when Bullock's healthy, you have to go back to Bullock. But I think they're working ahead to next year so that they have a kicker and a punter, both on rookie contracts for, the next several years going forward.
So all of this is just dress rehearsal. All the musical chairs here is dress rehearsal then.
I think that's what yesterday was. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Bullock's hurt, and the one thing you can't have happen, and it was probably the way the week went, because they didn't rule out Randy Bullock until Saturday, right? I think they're and sort of reading between the lines of what Craig Aukerman said on Wednesday, what Mike Vrabel said throughout the week. I think there was it was a Bullock can probably kick against the Bengals, but what we can't have happen is for him to be in pregame warmups and re-aggravate it, or on his first kick of the game to hurt it again. And so let's not take that chance. We saw Josh Lambo last week. He's out there. That's fine. But let's give the kid a dress rehearsal. Give him the sense of kicking in a game, and then in the off season we'll fire up that competition again, and if it's anything close, we're going to give it to the kid.
I want to ask you about, and listen, David Bloclair, I respect you deeply, David. You have covered about 4 or 5 times more football games than I have, and I've been to a few. I've covered about 80 or 90 games. You've gone way beyond that. I have never, ever seen myself, David, through years of MTSU football, TSU football, Vandy football, and Titans football, I have never seen the roughing on the snapper call during a field goal. I've never seen it myself. I'm not saying it's not a penalty. I'm just saying I've never actually seen a flag thrown for that. I've seen leaping. I have seen roughing the kicker. I've seen a penalty where a guy climbed up on another guy to get a higher angle on the kick, try to block the kick. I've never seen that. Have you seen that ever flagged before?
I have, and it's been a while. It was. I'm trying to remember when that rule was put into place. It's relatively speaking a new rule, and I want to say maybe 10 to 12 years in the book. And it's one of those things because teams were starting to take advantage of the snapper there, and I'll say this, no one in the locker room was complaining about that call. Like Kevin Byard even laughed yesterday. He said, "Yeah, it looked to me like 2 guys hit him." And it's just you can't hit the the snapper around the head or neck area. This is all concussion related stuff, and the defenseless player language is part of that rule too. It's all connected to that, and I didn't see it. I have to say I haven't gone back yet to watch it closely, but it sounds by everybody's reaction to it like it was pretty egregious on the part of Kevin Strong and or Tierre Tart, probably both of them. And it's one of those things. In a way, you can't fault their aggressiveness, right? I mean, it's a huge moment in the game. They know that they want to try and block the kick, and they probably just lost their teaching for a moment in terms of what they're instructed to do and what not to do. But that was that certainly created an anticlimactic final 2 minutes yesterday, didn't it?
Oh, it certainly did. I've never seen that penalty before. I'm not saying it's not a penalty. I'm just saying I've never seen anybody throw a flag for it ever before. So that part caught me off guard. Last question I've got for you, David, is this. If they continue to, and when I say they, I mean opposing teams, continue to neutralize Derrick Henry and his run effectiveness here, how long is it before the Titans, and I know Coach Vrabel has been talking about the fact they want to run the football, but how long is it before they're going to have to tweak their offensive philosophy a little bit when it comes to throwing the ball perhaps a little bit more, even on first down and on situations where they would like to run the ball, but they just can't?
Yeah, it's interesting. Mike Vrabel was asked sort of that same question today. It was posed to him as, how hard is it to get away from Derrick Henry when things aren't going well during the run game during the course of a game? And he, Mike Vrabel said basically, Derrick Henry is a unique player in this league, and you don't want to ignore him in your play calling and in your game planning unless you absolutely have to. And yes, Derrick Henry's. We said he's hit a little bit of a lull here in his production, but this is still a guy who had 5 straight 100-yard games in a row, a guy who averaged 6.8 yards per carry in back-to-back games against Houston and Kansas City, both road games. He's got a 219-yard game this season, which is now the second best game by any running back this season. It's just and you look at that wide receiver group. It's not like in years past where you could say, okay, well, we're just going to throw it to A.J. Brown, or we're just we're going to throw it to Jonnu Smith and do the things we can do with him, or even such as he was last year, Julio Jones. That Robert Woods is a good player. Austin Hooper is a good player. Treylon Burks is a young player. None of those guys right now scare a defense enough to make them say, we've got to change our thinking defensively. So it's it's up to the Titans to find ways to do what they do, and what they do is drag teams down in the mud with them and try to win low-scoring games. They've done that more often than not this year. Yesterday, it didn't happen. I think the one thing that everybody can hang their hats on right now is the passing game did come through at Green Bay, and Ryan Tannehill had a spectacular night, and Hooper and Burks both had big games, and it's possible for this team to do that, but you've got to, they've got to be really, really good, and I think they have to be playing against a defense that's closer to ordinary to have that kind of performance again.
David, we appreciate the visit. Now we'll have all week to just try to think, of some type of storyline for the Philadelphia game.
I don't know what we're going to come up with.
Any of us are going to talk.
I know.
About.
We'll
good luck with that.
We'll rack our brains. You rack your brain, and we'll see if we can come up with something. And we'll
shoot you a
talk
text
later.
if we'll let you know, man.
All right.
Thanks, David.
You guys have a great day. Thanks for
You
having
too.
me.
Thank you, sir.
David Beauclair at Beauclair Sports on Twitter. Give him a follow. Covers the Titans. Fan Nation Network on SI.com. channels. 615-844-5600 is our Cure Hotline. Phone lines are wide open the rest of the hour. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show next.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Football fans, make this Thanksgiving to remember a FanDuel One, America's #1 sport book. Yeah, Thanksgiving is on the way, because when you bet an NFL same-game parlay now through November 28th, all customers can get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose. The bigger you bet, the more you get your bet back in free bets. NFL same-game parlays, perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday. Build your own or choose from the popular SGPs. That's the same-game parlay, SGPs, pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play it, get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when you play an NFL same-game parlay of 4 legs or more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sporting betting partner of the NFL, and use that promo code GregP, 21 and older, present in Tennessee required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets, expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield, and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new law clause that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
From the big game to the big dance, bar lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the bar line staff take care of you. Grab a bar line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs, or a bar line's double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Line, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Skyscan forecast. Today's going to be mostly cloudy with a high of 58. A partly cloudy night tonight, low 44. Sun giving way to clouds Tuesday with afternoon thunderstorms likely, the high 68. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Back here on the McFarland Show, reacting to what took place at Nissan Stadium. Titans fall 20-16 to the Bengals.
So you were hanging out with the Bengals fans yesterday.
I was, and I was thinking about some of our conversations on this show.
Okay.
And I just want to run this by you.
Sure.
And I know you know, I get it, that I am very biased and very pro new arena.
Oh, the new stadium, okay.
There's no waffling whatsoever. It is very, very quick and hard fast. It needs to happen. And so I want to ask you, Nissan Stadium has been, and I get it, it's not all of it is the Titans' fault. Because this city has become a destination city. It's been a party city. It's become a party city. You know, it's like Vegas.
Yeah.
Nashville is a place to go hang out, right?
Yeah.
And so when your favorite team is going to Nashville, hey, that's a fun trip for us. Let's go to Nashville. So they get a lot of the opposition. And then this has been going on for a good while. Yeah. Now, I get it. Cincinnati's a short drive. It's
5
an
hours.
easy drive. It's not even 5 hours. I don't think.
4.5 hours.
About 4.5. Depending on how fast you drive. 4.5. Let's just go 4.5. Okay? They just went to the Super Bowl, so, you know, that always re-energizes a fan base, right? Ask the Blackhawks when they used to invade Bridgestone Arena. Yeah. And I used to say, you know, I remember before you won 3 cups in 6 years, you weren't here. And they're like, yes, we were. I'm like, no, you weren't. No, I was here.
Hawks.
Actually, you weren't. But that's fine. That's cool. I get it.
Yeah,
you know,
down here, loud and proud.
You're loud and proud now because your team's been winning. That's fine. But you know what I'm getting at. They have had a lot, and yesterday was no different. It was thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Houday fans, Cincinnati fans, all over Nissan Stadium. Yeah. So I ask you, the projections are, the reports are, and I told you on this show, I've told people on this show, I've been told this for a good while, well before renderings ever came out, that it was going to be about 60,000. I was like, interesting. The first time I heard it from a great source. I'm like, really?
They've stuck to that.
Going to downsize by about 10 grand. Okay.
Yeah, close to it,
I think 69, 100, whatever is their sellout number they always used to say.
All right.
Does a new stadium change that? So less seats, tickets are in more demand. It's roofed. You don't have to worry about the elements. You don't have to worry about the wind yesterday or it being cold or raining. None of that stuff is in play. You can come, enjoy, sit inside, and just enjoy a game without any of the elements. Not too hot, not too cold, not wet.
Sure.
Does that change that or no?
No. As a matter of fact, it may make it worse.
You think it makes it worse?
Yeah. because people are going to continue to come to Nashville because it's a great time. People come down here to have a ball. They want to come back. And what happens is, and this is what I tell people all the time, what you have to think of when you see the tourists who are here in town for these games is you cannot think of it because you're at home. You're home. They're on vacation. So think of things as you do when you're on vacation, not when you're at home. And as long as you think through it on that lens, the extra money for a ticket not going to faze you because you're on vacation. Vacation spending is very different from I'm just going about my day-to-day spending. So, if you're at home, are you paying, $200 for a ticket? No. I'm on vacation, though. Well, for vacation, we decide to splurge and spend a little extra. I mean, it happens. You go to Gatlinburg every year. Is that correct?
Yes.
You go to twice a year, as a matter of fact.
Twice a year.
There are things that you pay for, good sir, in Gatlinburg that you would never, ever pay for here. You just wouldn't do it.
You're saying I don't buy candles here?
You know what? You could. That's your own personal business. But what I'm saying is,
I don't buy an Indian blanket in Nashville? No?
Listen, you can, I guess. But you pay for things in Gatlinburg and do things in Gatlinburg and pay premium for things in Gatlinburg that you wouldn't do here. And people who come here do the exact same thing. So that's not going to change.
They have flapjack houses there. Did you know that?
That means pancakes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they call them flapjack houses.
Okay, well,
So
and I bet you pay a little bit more for a pancake there than you
may
do here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pay those tourist
I'm not
prices.
sure they make it any different, but you may pay a little bit more.
Well, no, it's still the same flour and milk, yes.
So, but I guess what I'm getting at is you don't think, because it's easy to punt the elements this time of year, right? It's cold, it's windy,
and people don't want to go sit outside. Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to go sit out in the crap. Like, I'll just stay at home. I'll stay dry.
Oh, no.
Somebody's offering me twice my ticket value.
Yeah.
I'll just. So you have the built-in excuse, or early year, it's going to be 99 degrees. It's hot. I'll just
it makes
stay
it
in my
more
AC.
comfortable.
If it's 72, I'm just saying, does taking the elements out of the picture, does that make fans a little bit less prone to sell because they're like, I don't have any excuses?
No, because no matter what they do down there, and they can do a lot, but no matter what they do, it's still not going to beat your house. If people are comfortable watching the game at their house, they're going to have to do a bunch to entice you to come down there. To still get
that's what they're going to try to do.
And listen, and they will get a lot of people to do it. But the tourists are a major part of this. And that's why, again, when you've seen the renderings, where's the parking lot? Yeah, because they don't, and I'm not saying they don't want Titans fans down there. They certainly do. But I'm just saying that it's not the most top of mind thing. They know people are going to Uber and walk and all that kind of stuff from hotels and other places. These are the tourists.
So you think even the new stadium will be overrun with the opposition's fans?
Oh, guaranteed.
Okay. All right. It's just a thought I had walking to the stadium yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just a thought I had. I was like, does a new stadium change that? Tickets are in demand. I think fans have less excuses. So, and if the team's good, they're going to want to be there. They're going to want to be a part of it. But I don't know. Look, your answer may be right. I just thought I would throw that out there. Let's go to Nolansville. Tony is standing by. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
And first of all, huge win by the Big Orange the other day. They trounced Vanderbilt and ended all speculation of any hypes of a bowl stuff. But I just thought Vanderbilt did not come out and play with any intensity or excitement or enthusiasm. Tennessee had some of that to do, but I just was disappointed in their intensity and their emotional part of the game. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it.
I did not. I think we talked on what? No, I was going to say Friday. No, we didn't talk on Friday. I think it was on Wednesday's show, and I think we were all in agreement that the game should be at least a close game, right? It should be a fun.
Right.
But boy, I didn't see 56-0. I certainly didn't see that.
Some old school stuff there.
And let me touch on this because I know we're up against the hour. I want to touch on one thing. You're talking about coming to Nashville. We know all along about the seating. People have talked about Vanderbilt need They ought to get out of the conference. Well, Vanderbilt's not going to get out of the conference because of the fact that the city.
It's the dumbest conversation that we've had in this city for
I know.
for decades.
It's not going nowhere because the people love coming here. SEC schools like coming here. They like their fans coming here. And that's the thing about it being the it city and the vacation spot there, and you were talking about. When you start seeing Nashville as one of the giveaway prizes on The Price is Right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, really?
All the time. Let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal.
Yes,
when
sir.
you see the city being
All
one of
the
their
time.
major prizes, that tells you enough right there that people love coming here.
Win a 3-night stay at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel.
Right.
You and a guest.
If they can throw in a bowl game or get a football game in, they're going to do it, and you're going to have this deal with the Titans. See, the Titan fans, I had season tickets for 10 or 11 years, and it has started. It was dwindling back in the 2010, 2012, and it has continued to dwindle. And I think that's what you were seeing, going through the game. You've got teams coming here, and their fans come here, and I don't know where they get the tickets, but somebody sells them. And like I say, people just love coming here. Will that change the stadium? Will the stadium change other things? I don't know. But anyway, it's a hit city. People going to come here. They love coming here, and they're going to find we've got so many sporting events and live music. Everybody wants to see it, be a part of it.
Hey, Tony,
That's my take
Tony,
guys.
on the way out, it's breaking right now. It looks like Hugh Freeze is about to become the next head coach at Auburn.
Well, they've blackballed him enough out of the SEC. I think it's time to give him his second reprieve, his second chance. But I'm sure he's on a short leash. I'm sure he's got somebody over his shoulder watching how many cell phones he has.
Listen, everybody's on a short leash at Auburn. Who's kidding who?
Hey, you're right about that, guys.
Get him a
See you tonight,
chaperone.
Darren.
Thank you, Tony.
See you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Tony.
Good stuff. As
Get
always.
Tony, get him a chaperone.
Yep. There's a lot of people starting to cover college football. The Brett McMurphys, the Stuart Mandels, the Bruce Feldmans. They're all putting out there that Hugh Freeze is finalizing a deal to become Auburn's next football coach. No big surprise.
No. It was going to be him or Lane Kiffin all along.
Bill Keane, who comes on every week with us, said he would crawl on his belly through broken glass.
That's right.
Well, apparently he's doing that.
Hey.
Hope he doesn't get cut up too much.
No.
But with what they're going to pay him, he can get.
He must say he can get new stomach. He'll be all right. He can. It's fine.
So thought we'd pass that along. We'll come back. Speaking of that, we'll catch up with Vince Ferrara in Knoxville. We'll talk about 56-0 next for hour number 2. The McFarland Show, WNSR.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR. Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Marina Roy. Peyton Gendrons pleaded guilty to all state charges in the Buffalo supermarket massacre, including domestic terrorism motivated by hate and 10 counts of first-degree murder.
I felt it important not only to the families, but this community, that every name be listed in the indictment and that he plead guilty to every single name that he murdered.
Erie County DA John Flynn. Protests in China over the nation's strict COVID lockdown reaching a boiling point. The government's rolling back some zero COVID policies. An Iranian general says more than 300 people have been killed in nationwide protests against the country's human rights record. Testing underway on Houston's water supply. Mayor Sylvester Turner.
We are optimistic the results will come back clean.
A boil water alert's been in effect since a power outage Sunday morning at a treatment plant. This is ABC News.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour on this Monday afternoon. Hope everybody had a fantastic long weekend. Let's head east. This man was in town. He was in town for the Vanderbilt, Tennessee game. And then he accompanied me over to Nissan Stadium. Took in an NFL game. Titans and Bengals before heading back to Knoxville. He's Vince Ferrara. He joins us every Monday at this time. 99.1 The Sports Animal. Vinny, how you doing?
I'm good. Great to see you and Lauren and the family and everybody there in Nashville covering the Titans. A few more points on Saturday in the monsoon than in the cool clouds on a Sunday afternoon at Nissan Stadium. But it was still fun. But I'm doing well. I hope you guys are.
Yeah, that would have been nice to be in a roofed stadium on Saturday, wouldn't it? I know you were in the press box, but for all the fans that had to sit out on that, it was crazy how hard it rained during that game.
Yeah, especially, I mean, it seemed to, when it was time to walk to our cars, that's when it seemed to really start to pick up.
Nice timing, right?
My post-game video looked like I was Jim Cantori in a hurricane. Sheets of water behind me, but thankfully I was under the awning. Yeah.
Want to get your raw reaction. I'm sure it's not a big surprise, but it is becoming official. All the national guys who cover, or national folks who cover college football, are all tweeting out that Hugh Freeze is set to become the next head coach at Auburn. He's finalizing the deal right now. Just your quick reaction of Hugh Freeze returning to the conference.
It doesn't surprise me that would be his landing spot. He's not going to be the flavor for everybody, but Auburn wants to win, and they turned around. The Brian Harsin hire was a little surprising at the time, but at least he had some success. Just was an oil and water fit at Auburn, but they want to win. So despite any sort of checkered background for Hugh Freeze, they're gonna do it, and I know that he desperately wants to be back in the league. So to me, it makes sense, and not surprised. He'll be a challenge in the West, I think, for sure.
I saw today, I was reading where, is it Golish, Alex Golish?
BOC, yeah.
Yes. Is that I just didn't know that exactly how you say his last name. I know he's a finalist for the Broyles Award for assistant coach of the year. Tell us a little bit about him. I mean, I know Josh Heupel gets all the credit and his system, but this guy is the OC. You're around him. What's he like?
really good to ask questions to because he is very detail-oriented, and he will give you information. And he is confident about his team, but then he'll say when guys need to do work as well. He's an intense guy. Often if we're in the press box and you can hear some angst coming from the coach's press box, sometimes it's coming from him. But he's an intense guy, but he's put his arm around you, hug you, and show confidence in you guy too. And they have several of those kind of coaches on that coaching staff. Obviously Josh Heupel is right there in terms of the play calling, but Alex Golesh is very involved. And I do think it's a team effort. Joey Halsley, the quarterback's coach, is part of that whole process too, of kind of collectively getting everything done offensively and in the passing game. He's a guy that said earlier in the year, in fact, it might have been off of one of my questions about their offense. He said, our goal is to be the number one offense in the country. And guess what? They're still the number one offense in the country, and they have been for a good part of this year. And he's delivered on that. And everybody has performed at such a high level on offense when there were some questions coming in. So he deserves a ton of credit. It's obviously not just him. I think their wide receivers coach, Kelsey Pope, in his first year, did a nice job after Cody Burns went to the Saints. And, obviously the O-line has been a big part of their success. Hendon Hooker. There's a lot that's part of that award, and he'd probably be the first thing he'd say. But he's a good coach, and I think there's going to be some head coaching opportunities for him. How patient will he be for the right one is the question. When you have the accolades and the numbers that they put up, I think it's worthy, and I think he probably has a pretty good shot.
They really focused in on the relationship between Hooker and Milton on the broadcast. I know that's not a surprise to you. No. Joe Milton, as we talked about last week, I mean, he honestly looked exactly what I thought he would look like. Some nice throws, and then throws you go, holy crap. What did you make overall of Joe Milton's performance? It really, and I know it really wasn't about him. It was really how dominant they were in the run game. But what did you think of his performance?
Well, first to set it up, because you kind of alluded to that I would know about it, Joe Milton was my Vol Network pregame player interview going into the game. And I think I was the only one that had a chance to talk to him, and that's one of the things that he really harped on is all of the help that Hendon Hooker has given him, and those guys are inseparable all the time. They are side by side. They are roommates. He said Hendon Hooker would quiz him at night and wouldn't get a lot of sleep because he's trying to help him, and he was his biggest fan, and saying, that welcome to the Joe Show, and he's going to ball out and all those kind of things. So and he was around the team as well. He saw him in the pregame. They were dancing, and he was hyping him up. So it was very helpful for the whole team, not just Joe Milton, that Hendon Hooker was there. As far as Milton's performance, he missed on some details. I think at least 4, maybe 5 deep shots that he missed on that could have been long touchdowns, and that's what we saw early in the year last year. We haven't seen as much of it in his relief duties earlier this year. He did hit on the long ball to Hyatt, and that's the one he kind of put some air under it. There was another one he was on the money to Ramel Keaton that Keaton dropped, so that he did connect on that one. But overall, those misses in big games against higher quality opponents, it gets you beat. And so I think it was obviously plenty good. I still think he's a little bit better in the overall, all the factors involved as a quarterback. But man, those misses, they can't be that way if he's going to be the guy from the jump. So good enough right now, but I don't know about good enough for this team to sustain upper part of the conference success if he's going to be the starting quarterback next year. That's got to be something, whether he mentioned maybe being, too hyped up or energetic or whatever, that he's got to get an off-speed pitch and not just throw the triple-digit fastball all the time.
Josh Heupel made a point to talk about the culture after the game and post-game. The people were questioning their culture. Of course, we all know the reports that were out there, swirling all week about Jeremy Banks and why he didn't play and all of that. Were you surprised by that? What did you make of how Josh Heupel really wanted to touch on that after a big win?
Well, I think he felt like the way the players played, that it really validated what he felt that they had within those walls, that there wasn't an issue, that people were making too big of a deal about the Hooker versus Banks deal. And, you could call it people call it an incident. I think it's, maybe the two guys getting a little bit heated. My understanding was just Banks stepping on the tee in the locker room, which is what no one's allowed to do. And I think Hooker wanted to make him accountable for that, and Banks didn't like it, and so Milton stepped between them. That's I think that's kind of what we're talking about. We're not talking about them fighting and everybody's everybody on the team is taking sides, that kind of thing. I think because Banks admitted that he missed a practice, I think that was about him missing a practice, not about that incident. The incident was after the fact. So I do think too much was made of it. But look, I said it during the week. I think I said it to you guys. This was going to be a game that, regardless of all that, was going to be a test of the culture inside those walls at UT in that football program. If they came out and they looked disinterested and they lost that game or even looked bad in a win, I think it would be very fair to question what's going on in their Banks incident or not. So I do think that they answered that, and I think Josh Heupel wanted to reiterate, and for recruiting, because people in this conference and throughout are going to try to negatively recruit that kind of stuff. And guess what they're going to do this week? Guess what's coming up soon in a couple of weeks with the early signing period is recruiting, hot and heavy. So that was one, he felt good about how they validated what they've got. Two, that was a move for recruiting, both smart, and I think the team did answer those questions.
Hey, Vince, a quick question for you about the Vols going forward here. The Orange Bowl versus the Sugar Bowl with this football team. Is there really an advantage one way or the other as far as the betterment of the program? Or is it just, you really can't miss going either way with this team?
And even the Cotton Bowl is still a possibility, yes. Justin. So any of those are ones with tons of history. They're New Year's Six bowls. So I don't think for the program and the prestige of it, I don't think it's going to be a bad deal or any worse for any others. I think for fans, it's more of a kind of a pecking order. Fans, I think, would like to go to the Sugar Bowl. One, it's the closest of the bowls, so they could get there a little bit easier. Two, it's the top bowl among the ones that might have SEC teams in it in the pecking order. And the reason is because the Sugar Bowl gets the highest ranked SEC team that's not in the college football playoff. And here's something that maybe I think a lot of people miss. If the conference champion is not in the college football playoff, they must take that team even if they're not the highest ranked remaining SEC team not in the playoff. So in the scenario of LSU winning, if LSU wins in Atlanta, even if they're ranked afterwards behind Alabama and Tennessee, Sugar Bowl is required to take LSU. So that's the one exception to the highest rank not in the playoff. And if that was to happen, then that would bump then the next SEC team to the orange, and then the last one would be the Cotton Bowl. Here's the thing, though, is even if it goes chalk and Georgia is in the Sugar Bowl, in the playoff, and Alabama, say Alabama's in that Sugar Bowl, and Tennessee's behind them in the Orange Bowl. If Penn State hops Tennessee in the playoff rankings, the Orange Bowl takes the highest ranked remaining after the Sugar Bowl gets theirs between SEC, Big Ten, or Notre Dame. And right now in the coaches poll have Penn State one spot ahead of Tennessee. Tennessee is one spot ahead in the AP. What will the playoff committee do? I think they'll still have Tennessee ahead, but who knows? That would be the one thing that could bump an SEC team out of the Orange Bowl and then push them to an at-large, which is what the Cotton Bowl would do, and they would certainly take Tennessee there to the Cotton Bowl. That's why all three of those bowls are still in play. And if Tennessee happens to be ahead of Alabama, then and Georgia wins, then it would be Tennessee in the Sugar Bowl. But that's probably the least likely of the three scenarios.
Is this whole debate about who should be ranked higher, Tennessee versus Alabama at this point, is this really more pride or what is it that's behind this exactly as far as this debate is concerned?
Look, this is, as you guys know, this is a proud fan base that expresses its opinion. And things are going well this year, so why not? It's about principle, I think, to a lot of them. You call it pride also. And it's also the narrative that a lot of people have throughout this league and frankly around the country that everything favors Alabama. And I think when you compare a lot of what the criteria is that they allegedly look at, Tennessee's checks all those boxes over Alabama. So the only thing that Alabama really has an advantage on over Tennessee is quality of losses. And to me, it should be about wins. Who you beat, the quality of those wins, and then what is your schedule like? Who had the toughest road, including cupcakes? So, like, opportunities to lose. Like, who even has a game on their schedule? Does one team have less games that are even threats for them to possibly lose? So I think the wins and then the strength of the schedule, top 25 wins, the upper end wins. Tennessee will have 3 of those. And Alabama, if Mississippi State gets in, that'll be their best win. So I'm sorry, just because you have close losses, to me, isn't better than, Tennessee's loss is so bad, then they act like it's an extra loss. And that's not an extra loss. So it's about the wins to me. Common opponents in Tennessee's favor, head-to-head, obviously, which should not be the absolute to me, but it's a difference maker. And it's one of the other check marks in Tennessee's favor. So I don't think it's going to go that way. I think it will still be Alabama, but I think it should be Tennessee. And it's the principle of it, I think, for a lot of fans and just want to be higher in the SEC pecking order like Tennessee fans believe they should be.
Last thing real quick, Vols basketball men's ended on a high note down in the Bahamas. That was quite a beatdown of Kansas there for the championship game. They were in control the whole time.
Beat down and lockdown. Man, that defense is really good for Tennessee, and really without Josiah Jordan-James, too, who arguably is their best and most versatile defender, too. Santiago Vescovi, SEC Player of the Week, and you had different guys contributing in the semifinal game against USC. 5-star freshman Julian Phillips, career high night, he was 26 points, and man, he's the most advanced freshman Rick Barnes has had at Tennessee. There's been some really good ones. That kid, he gets better every time we see him, and there's some real nice upside with him. So, yeah, really good start. They really took that Colorado loss to heart, and they've been excellent ever since. So moved up to 13 in the poll, in the AP poll this week as well.
Vince, good stuff as always. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Vince Ferrara, 99.1, the sports animal there in Knoxville. 615-844-5600, our Cure Hotline. Open the rest of the hour. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get a no-sweat first bet for up to $1,000. It's free bet back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up, use the promo code WNSR. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Also, they've got live betting where you can get updated odds on games that have already started. Get your winnings paid fast. All that's on the app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up today. Use that promo code WNSR for your no-sweat first bet. That promo code again, WNSR. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Remember, you must be 21 years of age or older, present here in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issues as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes, you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Get a taste of the tropics without ever leaving Nashville at Hawaiian Izakaya. The Heart, voted to have the best creative cocktails in Music City. Located inside Bento Living Chestnut Hill, The Heart is open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and drinks Tuesday through Sunday, plus brunch on the weekends. Expect fresh, locally sourced shareable plates, poke, yakitori, handcrafted cocktails, and aloha vibe. Visit theheartnashville.com to view the menu and make a reservation today.
NFL Plus is here, which means no matter where you are, this is how you football. You can stream live, local, and primetime regular season games on your phone or tablet, 45-minute game replays, and more. That's how you do it right there. This is the NFL for every fan. This is football freedom. This is your game on the go. Wherever you are, this is how you football. Go to plus.nfl.com/radio and start your free trial of NFL Plus today. Terms and conditions apply.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on the Final Lap throughout the offseason. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy. This week is Champions Week. We've got stuff going on from Nashville. We've got Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr. still talking about Ross Chastain and the move at Martinsville. And Roger Penske is getting a big award. So grab all the latest NASCAR news, driver interview, stats, and info every single weekday right here. Like us at Facebook.com/The Final Lap. We'd appreciate it every single weekday right here.
615-844-5600 is how you can get in touch with us here on this Monday afternoon. Titans fall 20-16 to the Bengals on to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I know Mike Vrabel was downplaying, the A.J. Brown stuff, just like he downplayed revenge game for the Titans against the Bengals. I understand he needs to do that, but you can't get away from that. That is going to be the focus. I know he's going to say that publicly, but everybody is going to hone in on A.J. Brown versus the Titans.
Yeah.
Period, bottom line.
He's going to be annoyed by the question when it comes up, and it will come up, and we'll have to do with that whole song and dance. I get it. And obviously it's something that people are going to focus on quite a bit. It'll be a big storyline. AJ will catch the ball and he'll flex and yell and what the Titans are missing and all this other stuff. But honestly, looking at where this football team is here at 7-4, I'm of the mindset, really honestly at this point, if AJ Brown is playing for this football team, are they really much better than this? Are they a game better? Maybe. 8-3 now instead of 7-4. We can go back and we can count. We can say, well, if they had AJ here and AJ there, then certainly they would have beat this team versus that. Maybe. But overall, I don't think the football team is all that much better than where it is right now.
I think all he does is he commands attention.
Yeah.
He has a presence where you have to game plan for him.
True.
Now, to your point, does that really change their record? I don't know. I would probably lean towards, probably not.
They didn't win the Super Bowl 3 years with A.J. Brown. And I'm not saying that he's not a great player. He certainly is. And obviously doing great things in Philadelphia, and he would probably do great things no matter where he went. He's a fantastic player. I'm just saying, is it that big of a difference maker for this particular team, given what they do? I don't know if he is. Not a franchise difference maker. I mean, a game or two here and there. But are they honestly that much better than 7-4? I don't see it.
Again, I think what he does is he just commands a presence. You have to know where he is at all times, right? You have to pay him respect. A defensive coordinator, right? A defense would have to pay him respect. You're not going to ignore him, right? So you have to pay attention to him. So there is value to that.
Sure.
I don't know the value in wins that is. What would Philadelphia's record be if they didn't trade for A.J. Brown? Would it be the same? Would it be less? I don't know.
Philadelphia doesn't have Derrick Henry either.
I watched them last night, and they ran all over Green Bay.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, went for $150 and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts running all over the place. Kenneth Gainwell's in the end zone. I mean, they're just everybody was running.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts is doing something special up there. And that's great. I think he is much more valuable to Philadelphia currently than he is to the Titans, and that's why the move makes a lot of sense for them. I know there are several people out there who believe if A.J. Brown were playing for the Titans, then for sure they'd be undefeated and on their way to the Super Bowl. And I understand that line of thinking. I really do. I just don't see it myself. The other thing I've heard a lot about this week, since yesterday's game, I shouldn't say this week, it's felt like a week, but since yesterday's game, is people's frustration about the Titans running the ball into what seems to be nowhere.
By the way, Philadelphia ran for 363 yards last night.
Very impressive.
363.
That's very nice.
Green Bay ran for 106.
Yeah. Not that great. Philadelphia is a fantastic team, and the Titans are going to have their hands full with them going up there to Philadelphia. It's going to be a spectacle for sure.
Yeah.
No question about that.
So getting back to your question about Derrick Henry getting hit in the backfield, is that what you were saying?
Force-fed the football, I think some fans are feeling like is what is happening. Like, why do you keep giving him the football when you see these are the results when they have a loaded box against him, all the time? And they asked Coach Vrabel about it at the press conference today. I just want to play that sound very quickly. They talked about getting him the ball through the screen pass and all that kind of great stuff. Here's Coach Vrabel about their offensive philosophy right now.
I thought the screen was an excellent, well-executed play by Brew and those guys, and we've hit a couple of those. So I think that there's some things that, we have to be able to get to get him the football. But our first focus is finding ways to run it and to control the game and let those plays, those run plays and some of those play actions marry with each other.
So my only point to hear Coach Vrabel say that is this. For those of you who would like this football team to change its identity as far as what it does on first down, the head coach is saying, no, that's not going to happen. They want to continue to run the football. Coach Vrabel believes that is their best bet to win football games. And so if that means it's against a loaded box, it's against a loaded box. And they're going to continue to do this. And I know a lot of people want them to start at least threatening to throw the football a little bit. And that is understandable considering what we've seen.
They threw the ball 34 times yesterday.
But when? It's not throwing the football.
Are you talking about run, pass?
Yeah.
Run, pass?
It's not
run,
the
pass.
fact they're throwing the football. It's when they're throwing the football. They're throwing the football when they're forced to throw the football. How many of those throws are on first down? How many of those throws are when the team is not expecting them to throw the football?
Well, let me just say this. The biggest misnomer out there is that when Derrick Henry doesn't have a successful day, it's because they had a stacked box. They loaded up the box. Every team loads up the box against the Titans.
Yeah.
Okay, so even when Derrick Henry goes off, they're still loading up the box. By the way, Mike Vrabel is, if you've heard him get agitated in a press conference this year, it was on that very question. Like like they do that every week against us. So I know fans get fixated on loading up the box, right? And it's like, they do that every week. And some weeks we have success, and some weeks we don't. That's life in the NFL. Like if you know you're going up against if their best player and what they like to. The other misnomer is people that they don't know what you're going to. You understand, like, you're not really outsmarting them every week, right? It's about execution. How many times do you hear coaches? How many times do you hear Mike Vrabel bring up it's about the execution. Because the reality is, Justin.
Yes.
They don't have Philadelphia right now is not out scheming everybody. Like, everybody's going, holy cow, like, where did that come from? Wait, we had no idea. Where are these plays coming from? No. They know a lot of times, they know most of the time what their plays are. This is what they do. These are their 15 to 20 running plays. These are their 15 to 20 passing plays. Like, we know what you're going to, but it doesn't mean you're going to stop it.
Yeah.
And yes, they execute it. One team executes better than the other team. One team wins the battle in the trenches over the other team, and that's a big. How many times do you hear that?
Yeah,
win the battle in the trenches, and you'll win the game. Well, who won the trenches yesterday?
The Bengals.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So it's not about out-cuting the other opponent. Now, sometimes you come up with a trick play or a play or two that, they had no clue, and you look great when you do it, right? But that's not how you win a 60-minute football game. You win the 60-minute football game by execution. And yesterday, Cincinnati beat them, and, you heard Mike Vrabel after the game. Mm-hmm. All four facets. Offense, defense, special teams, and coaching.
Yeah. Well, they beat them up front really bad.
They beat them at their own game.
Yeah.
So they out-executed the Titans. They weren't smarter than them. The Titans were, look, and I get it. Todd Daddy, and by the way, talking about when we played the press conference on Wednesday, I went back and I listened to the whole press conference, and no, that was it. Like, we didn't have some missing audio from what we played. So I'm just telling you today on Monday, and I know we've kind of moved on until the NFL or the league does something, which I suspect they will. I guess I can't imagine that no discipline is going to happen. If I were the players, the PA, I'd be pretty ticked.
Yeah, because
the players don't get off scot-free.
No.
And so why would coaches?
You would think something will be coming down from Park Avenue.
I'm still really disappointed in him speaking to the media on Wednesday and really not offering any apology whatsoever. I continue to be incredibly disappointed with Todd Downing and how that was handled on Wednesday. They served him up, and he talked, and, man, I gave it a big thumbs down. That's what I gave it. Now, a lot of people want to beat him up about the play calling. And do I think it's creative? Do I think it's special? Do I think the Titans have other teams on their heels? No, I don't. But I don't know if you can even do that if you don't have the quarterback. The difference between Cincinnati and Tennessee yesterday and always whenever they play a team like that is every time Cincinnati needed a response, who responded for them? Joe Burrow.
Well,
Joe Burrow.
T. Higgins. But Joe Burrow.
But Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow got him the football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's a special quarterback. And Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And so they don't have that dude under center. They don't. And that's what separates them. The top teams in the AFC, well, let's see. You think it's coincidence? It's Kansas City. Who's that dude? Buffalo. What dude do they have under center? The Chargers are a little bit. We keep wanting to prop up Justin Herbert, but they don't.
No, you do. I don't. I'm still waiting on.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I know, and I understand that, but I'm still waiting and seeing on Justin Herbert. It's so far what we have been promised has not come all the way out in the field on a consistent basis with him.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So I just think a lot of times it's just about having that guy, and that's That's what separates you. Now, I don't know if Jalen Hurts is that guy or not, so you can push back on it and say, well, I don't have that special guy. The special guy was supposed to be on the other side yesterday, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. Well, I know he left the game, but, I don't think Todd Downing is any special offensive coordinator. No, I don't. Do I think he's special? Do I think he's doing things really creative? No, I don't. I think Arthur Smith was way better at an OC than Todd Downing. I mean way better.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so I do think there's a pretty big gap between Arthur Smith and Todd Downing. But, I also know that Mike Vrabel loves to muck it up, and he loves to win ugly.
Yeah.
So this is his kind of football.
And that's my.
Of course, he wants to be on the winning side.
Yeah, but that's my larger point. My larger point is, if Titans fans are frustrated about what they're seeing offensively, that's not going to change. This football team's going to win or lose exactly the way you saw it yesterday, I think. I don't think we're going to see any adjustments whatsoever. If they can't run the football, this team's not going to win. I mean, and that's just it. So, I mean, and this football team needs Derrick Henry to get up and down the field. And if Derrick Henry's not going to get up and down the field, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah. 38 yards rushing from Derrick Henry is probably 9 out of 10 times going to result in a loss.
Yeah.
It just will.
Yeah. I mean, they need him to pound the rock. And if they can't move with him, if they can't find ways to run the football, then it's going to be ugly. And so that's what's happened in some of the playoff losses is, even though they're rolling going in, one team figures it out, Derrick Henry's held to 50 yards, and the Titans get an L. It's just, what it is. And I know people want to see something different, and people are wanting to see, can't we use, Traylon Burks made a all-pro catch, not game, not season, but for one shiny moment on Sunday afternoon, and Darren, you were there and saw it in person, he made an outstanding catch, up there with just about anybody in the league this year. But that was one play on one afternoon.
Yep. By the way, since he's come back, I said they're going to need him, and he has. He's stepped up. He's been big these last 2 weeks.
He's been much better.
I mean,
and been the most dependable receiver they've
yes,
had.
Yes.
Most productive, certainly.
Yep. Looks like the Chiefs are going to sign Melvin Gordon. So I don't know what he's got left. One, we know that what he's got left in the tank really is irrelevant. Why they moved on from him in Denver because he can't hold on to the football.
But he's not going to be the feature back in Kansas City. And so for what he can do, it probably serves him well. He may be a short yardage guy, sort of a big body guy in Kansas City.
Third down guy maybe?
Yeah, well, not just third down, 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
3rd and inches,
yeah.
not 3rd and 7. Melvin Gordon, no. 3rd and 1, 3rd and a half a yard, yeah. Yeah, you can stick him up in there sideways, yeah, and he can get you the yard or so.
We'll continue the discussion on the other side. By the way, Cure Hotline open 615-844-5600. You're listening to the McFarland Show, WNSR. Hey, football fans, make this a Thanksgiving to remember with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because when you bet an NFL same-game parlay from now through November 28th, all customers can get up to $100 in free bets. Win or lose, just bet an NFL same-game parlay or a same-game parlay plus of at least $20. The bigger you bet, the more you'll get back in free bets. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you and FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However, if you want to play, get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when you bet an NFL same-game parlay of 4 legs or more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Remember, must be 21 years of age or older, present in Tennessee. Bonus issued on non-refundable free bets. That expires in 7 days after receipt. Max free bet of $100. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Hey Nashville, Ray here. Many of us suffer with anxiety when going to the dentist. You guys need to go check out my amazing friends over at Bite Dentistry. Bite Dentistry is where my family goes for all our dental care. Their mission is to help patients breathe better, smile bigger, and live longer by offering a comprehensive selection of services and total dental care for every member of your family. Bite Dentistry is the only dentist in town trained and certified to offer the Vivos method that helps with people who grind their teeth at night or snore that causes sleep apnea. What's great about the Vivos methods is that it's provided for both kids and adults. They also work with a company called Guard Lab, which creates custom mouth guards, which are the same mouth guards used by professional football players. Located at 3212 West End Avenue, Suite 301, Nashville, you can set up an appointment by calling them at 615-866-2129. That's 615-866-2129, and follow them on social media and online at bitedds.com. Again, that's bitedds.com.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189 or online at richardcourtney.com.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You know what the Mets stand for?
Metropolitan.
Yeah, that one.
Metropolitan is a flavor of ice cream, right?
Neapolitan.
Oh, okay.
Was that real?
I mean, half and half.
Oh, man. You talk about throwing me off complete. My equator is gone.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
GPander78 on Twitter tweets at us and said, this is going back to our conversation about the roof.
Okay.
You know, for the Titans. He said he agrees with me. The Titans need a roof. If they had a roof, the field goal would have been good yesterday.
Okay.
And he said, and Vrabel may have went for it on the last 4th down play.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to get my sequences together because I was confused on when they were in the red zone. I thought those sequence of plays was that when they missed the field goal? I thought it was bad plays.
At the end of the half,
he threw. He threw one to Hilliard like a 1-yard dump pass. They had 2 guys draped all over him. They didn't have any timeouts. He threw another pass. By the way, the 3rd down pass, they never once attempted a pass in the end zone. In the end zone.
Not really.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Because that pass, who was that to? Woods?
It was the Hilliard. Well,
no, who was the one?
The Woods, the double team.
He was not getting in.
Yeah.
Even if he catches that ball.
He was close to the goal line.
No, he was not going to get in, Justin.
Okay.
So guess what? They would have had the ball at the 1 or the half-yard line, and time would have ran out.
Yeah, and that's even
they
worse.
They never once threw into the end zone.
No, not
one
firmly,
time.
No.
That was horrible play calling.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And you would think, you give Chig or Traylon Burks or somebody a chance to go make a play for you. But then you're putting the ball in harm's way, and now you're taking the points off the board if that doesn't go the right way. But this is where you have to depend on your playmakers to go make a play for you if you've got them. If you got them. Now, if you don't have them, you don't have them. But you got to depend on Ryan Tannehill to make the right throw and somebody to go make a play for you. Get in the end zone here. Didn't happen.
I thought the play to Higgins at first, live and in person, I thought I was screaming OPI. Then I saw the replay, and I'm like, okay.
I thought it was OPI.
McCreary, the play McCreary was going on him.
Yeah.
I thought it was OPI, but after I saw the replay, maybe I felt a little bit different.
I heard the explanation from whoever was doing the color commentary for the game that since they were both hand fighting for the ball, then it was appropriate for T. Higgins to give the slight push off, I suppose, the Michael Jordan-esque push of Byron Allen, for those who remember that, on the last shot. Byron Russell, excuse me, on the last shot. But to me, that's one of those things that can go either way, and it's just kind of whatever. Okay, listen, McCreary's a rookie. T. Higgins is an established receiver in this league. McCreary's not going to get that call. He's just not.
Right.
Sorry. It's unfair. It's not right. If he was somebody different, maybe you would. But him in this particular situation, no, not going to get the call. Sorry.
What did you think about the Joe Burrow call when he slid?
I thought it was a little ticky-tack myself. And then clearly watching the replay, you can see that, he barely touched it. But, listen. These are the kind of things that are going to happen to this football team when they play aggressively and they are not being respected for their aggressiveness by the officials or by the way that the game is played right now. 10 years ago, all three of those are non-calls. This is just done. We just heard from David Beauclair, in our last hour, the call that ended the game wasn't even a rule a decade ago. They just installed that.
Yep.
So this is the new era here, and the Titans do not have a quarterback that. How often have you seen an unnecessary roughness call against Ryan Tannehill? Almost never, right? When's the last time you've seen that? Where, they threw a flag on Ryan Tannehill for roughing the passer. It's just not what they do. It's just not, they don't put themselves in that kind of situation to get those kind of calls. And those are calls that are benefits of the league and the way the league is wired right now. And so they're going to get those calls right now. They just are. The offensive weapons or the offensive way of football are going to get a better look right now from referees. It's just what it is. So I can't be mad at it. It's just what it is. You got to adapt.
I thought they whiffed and they hit each other.
Sure.
But then when I saw the replay, I was like, they did hit his face mask. They did jar his head just a little bit. It was, and it's Joe Burrow again.
Yeah,
so to your point, right?
Can't mess that up. So, listen, and I'm not saying it's right, but it is one of those things where, again, you have to know what rules you're playing. You've got to know if you're playing one of the marquee quarterbacks in this league, then, they're going to be a little bit more sensitive towards them. They just are. We've known that. It's well documented. They hit Justin Fields a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta on a very similar play to the one that you're talking about with Joe Burrow on the ground where the two players went over him, and they didn't call it. The same situation in Atlanta. They didn't call it. They hit him in the head. No call. Why? It's Justin Fields. Joe Burrow, now. Joe Burrow's a little different now. Listen, these are the rules of the game. I'm not saying it's right. I'm sure they're Bengals fans right now. If they're listening, if they were listening, they're going crazy. Oh, no, just sour grapes for the time. All right, then, man. But these are the calls right now that the Titans are not getting because they don't have those people who are faces of the league outside of Derrick Henry who are going to get the benefit of those calls.
We come back to wrap up Monday's edition of the McFarland Show. We'll talk about what happened at Bridgestone Arena, the news that we found out on Friday morning. Pretty interesting. Justin's got some insights on that as well. We'll do that on the other side. Nashville Sports Radio.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text STAPLE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text STAPLE to 321-321. That's STAPLE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Give the gift of play with the team at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. Stop in and stock up on a huge selection of new and gently used gear and equipment. Maybe you need some cash for the holidays. If you have too many bikes, inline skates, hockey, or other sports gear that you don't use anymore or it doesn't fit, get cash on the spot for your unused gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. They have the trained staff to help you sell your gear and help you find the perfect gift for the holidays, like a new baseball bat, lacrosse stick, yoga and workout gear, or equipment for a home gym. Or maybe you're like me and you love perusing golf clubs. Go check out what they have in their used inventory. I'm always in the Hendersonville store checking out their used golf clubs. So get cash for your holiday gifts when you sell your gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. And make sure to tell them Zach from Nashville Sports Radio sent you. That's Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville.
Whether it's getting your day started with a clear mind, taking the edge off after a busy day, or hitting the reset button at night, Cure helps us be our most productive selves. Completely organic and free of THC, pesticides, and heavy metals, Cure focuses on specific need states with great tasting CBD products designed to help you focus, chill, and sleep. And that is exactly what the Cure brand products are named. Focus, chill, and sleep. Now available at select MAPCO locations. Visit thecurebrand.com to learn more and follow them on social media.
It's a Bill King Show.
Lake Norman Buckeye. Bill, will Saban actually coach that 24 quarterback? At some point, he's got to hang it up. Nothing lasts forever. I want to repeat, Nick Saban is doing his favorite thing right now. He's not trying to get to a moment in life to where he can go sit on the beach.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
So we filled up our bellies on Thursday.
Yep.
Slept, got up, slept, napped, watched TV. Then Friday morning I get up, get ready, and I'm going to go down to Bridgestone Arena. I'm going to go to the Preds Avs matinee game. 1 o'clock puck drop.
That's what you thought.
That's what I thought. That was the plan. And I turn on my phone, and my phone's going crazy. And it had just been announced that the game had been postponed due to a water main break.
Yeah.
And that Bridgestone was under a lot of water, depending on what part
yes.
of the arena you were talking about.
Yes.
Could it be 3 inches? Could be 3 feet
yes.
of water.
Yes.
Well, once the video started circulating, I was like, there's no way they're going to host Columbus tomorrow night. I knew that game was going to get postponed as well. But it does look like they're set to get on track and close out the month of November with a game tomorrow night hosting the Anaheim Ducks. But
yes,
your day job, Fox 17.
Yes, sir. Well,
you found out a little bit more about what took place at Bridgestone, and I guess what happened at 5 o'clock in the morning?
4:30. 4:30 in the morning is when the whole thing started, according to the officials down there. Scott Potter, who is the director of water for the city of Nashville, was down there along with Mayor Cooper looking things over. What they found is one of their 10-inch lines down there had ruptured and dumped anywhere between 3 inches and 3 feet of water down into areas around the locker room, the pro shop, not the gift shop. It's not a hospital. The pro shop down there. It's not a museum. It's the pro shop, the Predators pro shop. The good people, great. They do a good job down. I don't want to just throw rocks at them. This is not about that. But there was a lot of water down there. Water's all on the floor. And according to Sean Henry, the CEO of the Predators, they were missing walls and ceiling tiles and everything else as a result of this. it is being looked at as to whether or not the drought or dry weather may have caused the shifting of the ground and may have caused you the leakage of or the rupture of this water line. Now, I was just doing some reading up, and there's some other media outlets, Darren, not mine at Fox 17, but some other media outlets that are reporting that the line is not one of the old lines. It is one of the 1990s lines that were installed when the arena was built.
Okay.
That's one of the lines that was ruptured. And it would make sense because those would be the lines closest to some of those areas that you were talking about. For those who don't know, the city of Nashville was not founded the other day. I know it seems like it was, but the city has been here a long time. And the pipes that supply the water underneath the city are not young. They are quite old. Some of them more than 100 years old in certain cases, depending on where you are. And some of those break. Actually happens all the time. So when that happens, typically it happens when there's an extreme weather shift. We go from cold weather to hot weather is when it typically happens because the ground resettles and then things shift. But there we are. And now all of a sudden there's a lot of water flying into Bridgestone Arena. And now the city, and I'm sure everybody, all the king's horses and men are going to sit around and try to figure out, how do we miss 2 hockey games over a ruptured pipe when there was not an earthquake, there was not an explosion, there was not anything. No tampering has been alleged. This just happened. And all of a sudden now we've got to miss 2 hockey games. And, listen, the city has spent a substantial amount of money in maintaining Bridgestone Arena. And I'm not saying that, it's going to, I'm sure it's insured and all that kind of great stuff. I'm sure they've got enough money to take care of all of this. I'm just saying that, for as much money as they've got invested over there in Bridgestone Arena, this has got to be, I would think, a touch concerning.
Well, in what way? What do you mean? Just because of how it happened?
Of how random.
Like, how did it happen? I mean,
of how random it seemed to be.
Is there any way to know? I mean,
well, sure, they can get engineers in there and figure out the most likely cause of why this thing ruptured the way it did. Absolutely. They can go in there and take a look at it. They know when all that stuff was installed. Everything is marked. They can go in there and figure out what most likely caused this. So, yes, they can know. But, how do you stop it? I mean, how do you stop the ground from settling? Yeah. Good luck with that. But yet and still, this seems to be a very random thing to happen at 4:30 in the morning. And, and thank goodness, listen, there's nobody hurt. This could have been in the middle of a hockey game.
Oh, right.
Very easily.
It was basically people were just coming in. I mean,
instead of 4:30 in the morning, this could have been 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that point, you would have been, the game might have been over at that point.
Probably.
Just ending.
No, just ending. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you got players and coaches and media.
They were set to also host a college game that night.
Absolutely. I mean, this could have been far worse.
Yeah.
Glad everybody's okay, and we'll get back to hockey. But it's not going to be the same. There'll be cleanup and tape and everything else in there for the foreseeable future until they get all that cleaned up.
Pittsburgh at Indy tonight. Real quick, who wins?
Steelers.
Steelers beat the Colts.
Mike Tomlin.
Wow.
Mike Tomlin over Jeff Saturday.
Okay. We will find out. We will certainly discuss that and a lot more tomorrow. That'll do it for our show. Have a great rest of your Monday. I'm going to go bowl for charity. Stay tuned. Afternoon Stretch is next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Rena Roy. The teenage gunman in the Buffalo supermarket shooting pleaded guilty to all state charges. Peyton Gendron will spend the rest of his life in prison. Ukraine's president is warning Russia is gearing up for new attacks which could target the power grid.
Here in Kyiv, less than 43% of residents still have power. Entire blocks darkened.
ABC's Inez de la Cutera in Kyiv. Water sampling is underway in Houston, where residents are under a boil water notice issued after a power outage at a treatment plant.
I have asked for a complete diagnostic review
of this system to further verify and to identify how we make sure it does not happen again.
Mayor Sylvester Turner. The U.S. Geological Survey warning residents of Hawaii's Big Island who live near Volcanoes National Park to review evacuation plans now that Mauna Loa is erupting. This is ABC News.
Technology helps keep everyone comfortable with a smart thermostat.
Turn temperature down.
Temperature down.
Turn temperature up.
Temperature up. But to keep everyone on your team working comfortably, you need more than technology. You need CDW to custom configure Dell Client Solutions devices. Adaptive AI-based software creates a personalized user